Today, I'm going to show you how to install the new Wizard FCS steering kit on this XTR 130. We have to start off by removing the stock foot braces. In the kit, there will be two fully assembled Wizard foot braces and also new hardware to replace the existing hardware. So if you notice on one end of the foot brace, there's a little eyelet. So that eyelet is going to be facing towards the paddler. You're going to end up threading your Spectre cable through this eyelet. This is already going to come pre-assembled like I mentioned before, but I'm going to make sure that eyelet, so this longest eyelet for adjustment is also facing towards the paddler. If it's facing the opposite direction, it's not going to work. Now take your Spectre cable. There's 3 different holes that you have to thread this through, starting off with the one at the very front of the foot brace. So that's gonna go through here. And then on the foot brace itself, you have one just on the outside facing the paddler. That's gonna go in the top hole. There's actually 2 holes here. We're gonna thread it through this top hole. And then on the foot brace itself, there's an adjustment wheel, okay? So that's what's gonna spool up your Spectre cable. There's also one last hole. From the outside going in, you'll thread that cable through. Just like that. And then in order to get the proper amount of line on your spool, you're gonna take the foot brace all the way down to the very front here. Pull that line taut. So this is gonna give you enough line to make the adjustment that you need while on the water. And then I'm gonna take probably additional, maybe 2 to 3 inches here and then tie a knot. Tie a double knot. That was probably a little too much. You might wanna dial that back just a little bit, but y'all get the picture. Probably 2 inches you'll tie that knot. Trim the excess material, and then you're gonna pull that through, give some tension on that knot, and then you can begin to spool up your line. So there is a spring in this little mechanism here, so pull out, keep tension, and roll up, and now you have a fully spooled Wizard FCS foot brace. Rinse and repeat, do the same thing on the opposite side. Really super install. I don't mean to overcomplicate things. Everything should work as is right out of the box, but I'm gonna hand it over to Hans and he's going to, I guess, explain or walk through how to maintain your foot braces.
So Justin showed us how to set up the Wizard foot braces so they're ready to go. Now I'm gonna show you how to maintain them. The first thing you wanna do, you're gonna need to get the slider foot brace off the rail. To do that, you're gonna need to remove the back side of the rail. So there's a screw tapped in at the back, and the foot brace comes off. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is remove the cover and the actual foot brace itself. To do that, I'm gonna remove these 2 front screws, and that's gonna allow us to get the cover off. The next thing we're going to do is remove the foot brace spindle. So we're going to use a 1/2 inch wrench and remove the lock nut at the back. I've already loosened it. So we can pop that off. And then we're going to use I think it's a 3/16 Allen key. We're going to loosen the bolt itself. So there's a spring in here. And the spring thing is gonna come out when you pull this. So there's your spring, your spindle, and the foot brace. Set that down. You have a spool. That's what the spool looks like, and the cover. And I'm just gonna leave all this in place for now. We'll put that back in a minute. So once you have the cover off and the spool, and I'm just gonna leave this here for now. I'm not gonna detach all of that. This will leave you with the actual hardware and the bushings and the bearings that allow this thing to glide. So if you want to replace these down the road, or if you want to adjust them, all of the adjustment occurs at the back here. The lower 2 bearings are adjustable. There's actually an eccentric bushing in there, and you're going to be able to adjust those so that they actually run on the track. So if they're a little loose, you can adjust them to be a little bit more snug, or if you want them to be more loose, you can lighten up how they glide. So to do that, you're going to need an 8mm wrench, and you are going to need a 3mm wrench. So I'm going to loosen up the lock nut. And then the hard part to see here is that this post will actually shift because it's on an eccentric bearing, and you want to rotate it in or out depending on if you want it to be snug or loose. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and get these to kind of a snug position, and you will see when you take a 10mm wrench and move that nut, you will see it rotating in or out. So I'm gonna get it set to the place I want it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it back up using the 8mm wrench and the Allen key. Then you can check it. So in this case, I've actually made it a little bit more snug, but you can also reduce that glide to get it exactly how you want it. So that's how you adjust the foot braces. Same thing goes for replacing the bushings and bearings. Can all be pulled apart and completely rebuilt if you want to do it. All right, the next step will be putting it all back together. For simplicity's sake, I just pulled the line back out. I've got the spring, the spindle. Get that started. I'm going to go ahead and run the spindle in. All right, I'm going to put the lock nut back on the back side. I will slide the whole foot brace back on the rail, and then I'll get this end cap in place. I almost forgot to add the screws to the cover plate, so I'll do that next. And then we'll bolt it back in. A couple other small adjustments for the foot braces. The loop at the end of the rail can be rotated 90 degrees depending on the boat you put these on. You may want to put it in a different position to help guide the line into place. You also have different holes, so depending on where you want the line to land, you can choose a different hole position for the line to hit the spool. And then the other thing that you can do is use adjustable stops. The foot braces are going to come with metal clips that go with set screws. So if you wanted to use these foot braces as fixed foot braces, so let's say you want to use them to fix your rudder in a straightforward position and just use them as foot braces, you can add these sliding stops that will come with the kit and set those up too. And they set up with a Phillips head set screw. So that's it for adjusting the Wizard foot braces, and you'll be ready to go.
That was the complete install of the new Wizard FCS steering kit from Bonafide Fishing. If you're interested in this product, check out the description down below or visit bonafidefishing.com. Thank y'all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the water.